You know, a lot of people, man, is thinking that this thing is made up or this thing is fake or that I have an axe to grind. You feel me?
Right.
But I'm in here with a 27-year sentence based on Demetrius Flannery, as you all know as Big Meech, and Tammy Collins, known in the paperwork as CS1.
Right.
Confidential Source 1. So what Big Meech did was call a third-party cooperation. So Tammy Collins signed up to be a DEA informant to give Demetrius Flannery a time cut, plain and simple.
Right.
Even talking about here. Cuffy got charged literally in February 2013, the first transaction, which is, where's the date? I got it right here for you. The early transaction is the February 5th through February 7th transaction. It's 2 kilos. It's 2 rad-ass kilos. You're not giving a drug kingpin a sentence reduction because some guy got knocked off with 2 keys that he didn't even pay for. It was a reverse thing. He got it on the cuff from the cops. So he received no money, no assets. They set the guy up with their own product. And you think they're going to give the biggest African-American drug trafficker a sentence reduction because some guy got knocked off with 2 rat-ass keys?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
And then 10 days later, the second reverse thing, because after the authorities busted Cuffy's driver with the 2 keys that the authorities had set him up with, the authorities then go to Cuffy and say, hey, you owe us for those 2 keys. He didn't even have the money to pay for it. So then he was able to persuade them to say, okay, well, you know what? We'll sell you another 15 keys. Like, who does this? Nobody in the actual trafficking world does this silliness. The guy's already told you he can't pay for the 2. Why is anybody going to give him 15? Why would he fall for this nonsense? And so then when he gets knocked off for the 15, it's a total of 2 keys here, 15 keys there. There is no way in hell the federal government is going to give a sentence reduction to the largest African-American drug trafficker because some guy got knocked off with 2 rat-ass keys over here and 15 rat-ass keys over there. That's just not happening.
Yeah, that's not major weight. And people...
Let's get it.
Evidence, it is what it is. Right now, it's a bunch of assumptions. So Bebe is sending all of these aggressive ass threats to somebody without any type of evidence. There's no evidence saying that this man knew what she was doing. There's no evidence that said this man sent her to do it. There's no evidence that said this man agreed with her doing it. It's no evidence of any of that. The only time you see this man's name in this paperwork is when this woman asked if she can get him a time cut. And this was on a phone call that was an incoming phone call. So it's not like she reached out to the feds and said, hey, I want to get Demetrius Flannery a time cut. They called her because she cooperated in another case against a guy that she was already dealing with because he was laundering money through her and she was trying to get the feds off of her behind and get them back on his. And you can look that case up. She ended up sending him money and everything. She is a weirdo. So she sent that man to jail and they was like, look, the officer that you dealt with while you were dealing with that case has retired. And I wanted to know if you can help me because we have these Mexicans, cartel guys or whatever. They have all of this drug money and they need to launder it. And we want to use you to set these guys up. And she asked, well, if I do that, can I get Big Meech out? They were trying to give her money and she was like, look, can I get dude out? And they were like, we can talk about that. They did not even have the authority to make that deal. So there was no deal made. Obviously, the deal wasn't made because she started getting paid for being an informant. But you blaming Meech without proper evidence. If you had the evidence, it is what it is. Right now, it's a bunch of assumptions. So Bebe is sending all of these aggressive ass threats to somebody without any type of evidence. There's no evidence saying that this man knew what she was doing. There's no evidence that said this man sent her to do it. There's no
Best, she was targeting Suarez.
Right.
Now, Suarez and Cuffy were dealing with each other. The truckload of coke, the truck carrying the product, shows up in St. Louis. That's not he doesn't get arrested with that. That truck doesn't get seized. That product doesn't get taken down. What happens is 6 months later, in early 2013, Cuffy contacts Tammy Collins. Tammy Collins puts him in contact with another informant, some guy they call CS2. They never identified his name publicly.
Right, because Tammy is actually CS1, which is confidential source 1. I think is how they have it worded in the indictment.
She's confidential source 1. Unknown named informant is confidential source 2. Cuffy gets placed in contact with confidential source 2. Confidential source 2 introduces Cuffy to his contact, which is undercover special agent Martinez. See, that's what, again, you see.
CS1, Tammy. Tammy has said this. All right. So, do you not know or do you know? And if you don't know and you find out, what do you do? What do you do? Do you help Cuffy? Do you what's the issue there? What's the problem there? And I think in the coming weeks we're gonna figure out more. Because Tammy got some stuff to say. So I guess when Tammy comes out and says what Tammy has to say, then you know what I mean, then we'll start figuring out some more stuff.
What you about to say? Because you say this, we're gonna have a problem.
So who
I mean, anything
Tammy?
less than a conversation with her, Demetrius talking about setting somebody up, he gonna have wiggle room.
Yes.
Now look, who introduced Suarez to Tammy?
Demetrius told him to call her.
Right. So that means
he got her contact when he left St. Clair County Jail and went back and got back in the shape of things. And when he got back, he hit her. He had her number. Where he get her number from? He ain't get it off Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
I think
what was the
lost.
reason? So what was the reason for him putting Tammy?
Not just that Suarez hit her. All right. Suarez made 3 interactions with Tammy, his first interactions with her. Suarez is the plug. Okay. He is the Mexican plug. Okay. These kind of people you don't see, you don't speak to. These people, to talk to these people, you got to be vouched for. You know what I mean? But judging on his first 3 calls, his first thing is a call to her, whatever the case may be. He says is because he's checking on Meech. He said Cuffy also hit her to check on Meech. They both hit her the same way. That's his first call. The second thing he does is send her a picture of himself. Suarez sends a picture of himself to Tammy. They ask her on the stand, why did he send a picture? She asked him for a picture. She says, yes, she asked him for a picture. So he sends the picture. The third thing that Suarez says, listen to me, y'all. The third thing that he says is, yo, you know somebody can move some pills? The Mexican plug. She's never been convicted of a crime, nothing, never been charged. Why is he asking her about pills when he's the Mexican plug and anybody? He probably got niggas that he deal with and sell drugs to all his life. What the fuck? That he could help sell him to sell drugs. Why would he be asking her this? The whole time, the first call, you hear me? The first call when he asked her that about the pills, who's in the car with her? Because there's 2 ways that this is written in the paperwork. In one work, I think at the Frank's hearing, and I think it's one in the paperwork. So it's written 2 ways. In one instance, they say she's in the car with Chroma. Chroma overhears it and tells her, yo, say yes to the pills. I think he about to put CS2 on it. to go deal with that link up the pill business. Boom. The next instance, say she's in the car and she puts Chroma somehow on three-way, or she got another phone and she makes him listen to the call, but Chroma ends up hearing the conversation. So his first shit when he's talking about anything with her, she's in front of an agent and Suarez is already in the hots.